What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's tutorial, and today's tutorial is all about 10 tips you guys should know in Final Cut Pro. If this type of content interests you guys, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell icon so you guys don't miss out on any new videos. So today's tutorial is tailored for beginners and pros. Some people that have never even touched Final Cut Pro can learn things out of this, as well as professionals that have been using it for years. So majority of these tips are my tips that I've been using over the past few years on Final Cut Pro, but some of them are from other people that I've searched and done a bit of research and noticed a lot of people have tips and tricks that I myself haven't even found yet. So if your friends or your family are using Final Cut Pro for videos, this may be a great video to share with them. So without further ado, let's get straight into tip number one. So tip number one is all about optimizing Final Cut Pro. Now, Final Cut Pro does a few things that really confuse you if you are new to using this software. The first thing is it background renders. While this is great and it means the system is really snappy and you don't get any lag, there can be a problem if you don't have enough storage capacity. So what Final Cut Pro does is, while background rendering, it creates a brand new render file every time a render has been completed. And what happens is these render files accumulate and take up a lot of hard drive space. There is also a second thing that can also take up a lot of space, and that is duplicating your original media files. So Final Cut Pro does something funny that once you have your original media, say on your desktop in a file, and you drop and drag it into Final Cut Pro, it will duplicate those original media files into Final Cut Pro's library. But there is a solution to this, and there is a way we can get around it. The first is going into your preference menu, hitting playback and turning background rendering off. By doing this, you then have the ability to determine when Final Cut Pro renders. And if the playback seems fine, you may not need to render. When you feel like it's starting to slow down, then you can render. By doing this, you will definitely save space. So the second thing you guys should look at, still in preferences, if you look at the import settings, there is a setting there that says leave files in place. And by default, this is not turned on. So what Final Cut Pro is doing, it's duplicating your files and making a copy and putting it in the library. If you guys are short on space, I highly recommend select keep files in place. This will leave your original media files on your desktop, and that's what Final Cut will be using to edit with. Tip number two is all about presets. Now, when I first started using editing software, I never used presets, and I wasted so much time color grading and audio editing clips that didn't need to be. Because these clips were exactly the same as the last clip, there was no point going in and editing each individual clip. So what I started using was presets, and presets are so easy to set up. Pretty much all you do is you go and you set up your color grade or your audio, whatever you guys want to do. Edit the crap out of the thing. Go down to the bottom of the inspector window and you'll see a little box that says save preset. Once you click on this box, you then have an option of what you want to save. You can choose just audio, just color grading, positioning. That is all up to you guys. I've created presets just for audio volume. So I know when I have a music track underneath myself talking, I know I want that at minus 25 dB. I just drop and drag that straight on, and straight away I have music at minus 25 dB. It's the same for EQ and compressor. I have effects presets set up just for each specific microphone. And also when I'm doing face to camera things like what I'm doing now, it will always stay the same. And I know that if I create a preset, I just drop and drag that straight on. I can save a lot of time by using effects presets. Now, the beauty about effects presets is once we have applied the effects preset, we can then go into the file and we can readjust it how we like. We can choose to save it and override the existing preset, or we can just leave it how it is and just use the change to affect the clip that we are working on. So definitely think about using effects presets. I feel like they will save you a ton of time, especially on things that you don't need to waste your time on. It just makes your time that much more efficient and gets stuff done quicker. So tip number 3 is all about syncing audio. Now, how many times have you guys recorded audio on another device and tried to sync it in post? It can be a nightmare. Moving each clip on the timeline, trying to get them aligned properly. You do the clap, and just to get that on exactly the right spot, it is so hard. The clip just moves around everywhere. It's a headache, and it can waste you a lot of time. So syncing audio is pretty easy. We do it in the browser window. Do not do it in the timeline. It will not work. Select your video clip that has your original audio recorded maybe from the camera, and then select your audio clip which may have been recorded from a field recorder. Select both, highlight them, go up to clip, go to synchronize audio. There is another way in doing it, right-clicking the clips when selected, and you can also select synchronize audio from there. A dialog box will appear and select OK. Once this processes, you will then have a new clip in your browser, which will say synchronized audio, and there you go, you have synchronized audio. Tip number 4 is all about compounding clips. Now in Final Cut Pro, we do not have adjustment layers like that in Premiere Pro. So we need to do things a little bit different. So say you guys have an edit done, everything's chopped up, cut up exactly how you like it. Now I can go in and I want to color grade everything. Now I can easily go and effect preset everything like we spoke about before, but there is an easier way to go about this, and that is by using compounding clips. So the beauty about using a compound clip is whatever preset or whatever color grade or anything we put onto that compound clip, it affects all the clips within that compound clip. So how we go about this is very, very simple. We highlight what we want to select as one clip and edit as one. We highlight it, we right click it, and we click compound clip. Once this is done, a dialog box will appear. You can name it whatever you guys want, hit OK, you have got a compound clip. So now whatever you guys do on editing on that compound clip, it will affect the whole thing. Now we can also double click on that compound clip and see each individual clip by itself again like it was at the original point. And then we can go in and we can fine tune and adjust everything individually. Now to view the compound clip as one, again, we go to that little back arrow near the timeline time window and we click back, and that will show us the original compound clip again. So compound clips are a great tool to use when you have a lot of footage that is shot the same or the same scene and may just require one grade or one effects preset or one audio edit. It just makes editing those clips a lot faster. The next tip is quick cuts. I will say a lot of people that have been using Final Cut Pro for many years still do not use this tool, and that is the ability to quick cut. Now we all know Final Cut Pro has the blade tool, which we can go in and chop up clips how we want it. But there is a shortcut to do it without even touching your mouse. The problem is when using the blade tool, you will listen to your clip, hit play, wait, stop the clip, hit the blade, cut, start again. There is a way to do this on the fly, and that's by using the shortcut Command B. Command B will automatically cut wherever the playhead is. So instead of sitting there with the mouse and the blade tool chopping up clips and taking forever, you can sit there and listen to the clip, watch it, have your finger on Command and B, and wherever you think there needs to be a cut, you hit those buttons and you get a cut. Now I know this is a pretty beginner tool, but like I said, there are many people that still don't use this shortcut, and I think it will save you a hell of a lot of time. Tip number 6 is the position tool. Now we all hate the Final Cut Pro timeline. Everyone I've ever spoken to hates the Final Cut timeline. People that I know that use Premiere Pro look at the Final Cut Pro timeline and they laugh. It's a laughing joke. It reminds them of something like iMovie. The major problem with the timeline is the ability to move things freely. It seems like you will move things somewhere and it will just snap to a point and then snap to another point. You don't have the precision like you have with Premiere Pro, zooming in and moving things just frame by frame to the side. There is a solution to this in Final Cut Pro, and that is by using the position tool. So we can use another tool in the tool drop-down menu that is called position tool. And this tool really is much more precise in allowing you to move things keyframe by keyframe to the sides or wherever you guys want on your timeline. Tip number 7 is proxies. So how many times do you guys throw a clip in Final Cut Pro and it runs like crap? Usually when it's 4K footage or above. Now you can transcode the footage to ProRes, which your computer can edit much more easily, but that's using something like compressor or media encoder. If you don't have those things, there is a way to do this directly in Final Cut Pro, and that is by using proxies. Proxies will create a duplicate of your footage, which is of a lower resolution or an easier to work with codec, which you can sit there and edit with and play back and all these things. And then once it comes time to actually rendering it out and exporting it, you can then go ahead and select optimize media and use the original media source. Now Final Cut Pro does this very easily. I've used Premiere Pro, it's a lot more complicated. With Final Cut Pro, we go into the browser, we select the clips that we have imported, we highlight them, we right click it, we click transcode media, select proxy, click OK. It may take a while to actually transcode this footage, but once you're done, you can then drag that onto your timeline. You then go up to the view button on your project preview window, go down and select proxy media. We are then using the proxied media, which in this case is ProRes 422 proxy, which runs much more smoothly to be able to preview and play back our footage. Now, the only thing you guys need to remember, and this is very important, is when it comes time to exporting your footage, right at the end, you need to go back and select optimize media. Make sure it's not still viewing and playing back proxy media, because that's what you will get rendered. You have to go back into the view settings, select optimize media or original media, and then render the project out. This is very important. I'm telling you, the amount of times I have done this even myself. Tip number 8 is quick copy. This is a very, very simple tool. More to beginners, but it's something that will save you a lot of time and it won't frustrate you. The normal way of copying and pasting clips really can frustrate you because it will paste clips in random places sometimes. Now what we can do is we can hold down Option, click the clip we want to duplicate and drag that away. We then can get a duplicate clip. This is without using copy and paste. This is a very simple tool, but it can help you guys in just getting things done quicker without having the headache of copy and pasting things all the time. Tip number 9 is selecting in and out points. It will save you a lot of time, especially in that initial editing process when you're importing footage and making all those cuts. So from the browser window, you can obviously drag your clips onto the timeline. But if you can already select in and out points on your clips in the browser window and then just drag just that portion of the clip that you want, you can save time when you go in and have to cut up all your footage because majority of it is already done. So we do this by selecting our clip in the browser and dragging the little white cursors on each side to a position that we are happy with, and we can make adjustments. Then we can click on that clip, drag it down to the timeline, and we just get that portion of the clip. Now this will save you guys a lot of time when you record something and you have a shitload of silence at the start and then you start talking. Just to cut out that initial bit of your clip can save you guys time. So in the editing process, when you're sitting down cutting everything up, you have already cut that out. I do this for all my projects now, and I'll tell you guys, I probably save half an hour on average on every project just by cutting out all the crap in the initial browser stage rather than in the timeline. Now, number 10 is all about assigning roles. Now, assigning roles will really help you guys out, especially if you have a big project. If you guys have multiple audio clips or video clips coming in from different sources, say you have a dual camera setup or 3 cameras or an audio recorder and then a microphone, it will allow you to separate all these things into their own category just so visually you know what you're looking at. So you can go into these clips, adjust them to be a different color, assign them a new role, and straight away visually it will become so much more easier for you to edit. So this is very easy to do. We just select the clip that we want to change the role of, right click it, select roles. Now, either audio or video, depending on what the file is, and you can select from the drop-down menu what role you want that video or audio file to take on. You can also create new roles very easily, and I do this usually for when I'm working on big projects and I may have 3 different audio sources, 2 different cameras on 2 different angles. I like to separate everything by color, and it just makes it a lot easier to work with. Now, I know these may just be simple tips, but put together, they may help you guys really progress in video editing. They will definitely save you guys time at the least. If this video did it for you guys today, please hit the like button, please subscribe, hit the bell icon, and I will catch you guys in the next video.